Hello everybody, welcome to SlipjointSawyer. Today we're taking a look at a very special knife, and this was sent over to the channel on loan from my good friend Stephen over at Paddy's Potato Peelers. And that knife is the Herman Knives Micro Sting 104. And this is a very high-end knife, and I do appreciate the fact that he sent it over to me because I know how worried he is about the post. But Paddy, I'll make sure it comes back safe to you. I've just got a couple of bolts and some bricks to hit it with, and then it'll be on its way over to you. So it comes in this little pouch, is what Paddy sent it over in. It does come in a wooden box, but obviously that would add tremendously to the weight to get it sent over here, so I appreciate that he sent it in this pouch. Keeps the weight down, and it's still nice and secure in this. So you've got the Polish Custom Knives logo here, and this is the dealer that sold the knife. And they do have other customs there as well, so definitely check that out if you're in the market for a high-end sort of custom piece. And then on the back as well, you have the Herman Knives logo. And then inside the pouch, you have the knife. Really sort of nice, felt lined, really high quality, and it's definitely something you'd be expecting for the price of this knife to pay for. So I think it's probably best if I get the sort of the price out of the way first. So this is a £1,300 knife or a $1,500 knife. It is very high end, it's very expensive, but the craftsmanship and stuff that goes into it, it's definitely, you can tell there's been sort of no expense spared, and the amount of work that's gone into it is really impressive. So on the front of the knife there, you can see you have this beautiful milled titanium. It's done to look like a shell. I really do like that. It's quite thin milled here, and it gets out more and more grooves on the outside. You can see as well you have this wonderful Damascus inlay. So Damascus is like Damascus made with titanium, and it's sort of, I believe it's sort of electronically charged to do this. I'm not entirely sure, but it really does look like an oil slick on the water to me, but with like the oranges, the browns, purple in there, blue, and there is a bit of green in there if you look really carefully. You can see you have a really nicely designed pivot as well. And then these here are actually the screws from the inside of the handle. So the base of the screws have been rounded off to make these look like rivets. It's a nice little touch on the knife. You can see you've got another one there on the inside of the inlay. On the reverse of the knife, you have a milled titanium pocket clip, and I like how they've made this quite long, so the retention can be quite light, because with a lot of titanium pocket clips, they make them about half the length, and then they're so rigid, you're scared it's either not going to get in your pocket or it's going to snap. But with this one, I mean, you can see me pulling it up there. Really nice sort of retention on that. I have carried it in the pocket, and it does sit relatively low, about here, a little bit out the top to pick up, but you can't really tell that's a knife when it's in your pocket. You can see as well you have a Damascus backspacer, and that sort of angled there facing forward. You can see it termination there as well, and you will notice as well it is Damascus steel, but this isn't just sort of any sort of ordinary Damascus. This is the Fafnir Damas steel. So that is, Fafnir is a trademark of Herman Knives. It's a steel they designed and developed, and we'll take a quick look at that now. It is a locking knife. There is a liner lock on it, so unfortunately it's not UK legal. There's a flipper tab. It seems to be the only really way to open it, unless you want to pinch the blade here, but it's quite difficult to get to. I mean, look at that steel. I believe Fafnir is two types of stainless steel, sort of forged and folded together up to about 100 times to create this Damascus looking steel here. And you can actually feel those grooves on the blade. They don't affect anything, they're very, very minor, but you can feel them. You can see you have the Herman Knives logo up there. And then you can tell the pattern here, you've got quite a lot of little bits up here, a little bit down here, and then the longer ones by here. And then if you turn it over, you can see the pattern is completely different on this side. You've got a lot of angular design with Damas steel. But this thing is absolutely perfectly done, as you'd expect and hope for a knife this expensive. The grind is perfect. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less of perfection from a knife if you're going to be paying $1,500 for. You can see you have the pivot here, and you can see it's milled into sort of like a flower shape, and that sits inside the handle. So you know you're not going to get the pivot to spin, it's a fixed pivot. You've got excellent access to the liner lock there as well. can see there's a little bit of milling in there, just to make it that little bit easier for you to sort of grip it with your finger. And then when you close it, drops down nicely. You have the flipper tab, it stops on the back of your nail, and then 2 little tiny shakes down and it's closed. And it is exceptionally light in the hand, like strangely light. Blade fires out with authority as well. Excellent action. It's pretty much impossible to make this fail unless you really try. Blade geometry on this as well. See that there, pretty thin stock, right down to a really thin tip. And this is a slicing machine. Like Paddy's review of this, he was right. It's excellent quality knife. It's made to perfection. It's CNC done, so you know it's going to be perfect to like the micromillimeter of sort of degree of perfection. For me, I'm a massive slip joint guy. Is it something I would buy if I had the money? Maybe. Is it my style? Probably a bit flashy for me, but I appreciate the workmanship that's gone into it. I know a lot of the guys might think it's a bit too flashy for the UK. Definitely with the sort of the shiny blade and this sort of Timascus here. But I mean, as I just said, the workmanship that's gone into this it's absolutely second to none, really. Just even the shape of it, it fits really nicely in your hand. And it's one of those knives that I didn't think I'd like this much, and I actually do. Can feel the pocket clip a bit. I wouldn't really say it's a hot spot, but I mean, it's not a knife you're going to be sort of hard use with, is it? It's a super high-end knife, so it's going to be one of those more like pocket jewelry, really, isn't it? But we'll just take a quick look at some specs. So we have a look at the close length here. So you can see we have, line it up at the 7, 1, 2, 3, 4 inches closed, and then a full blade length of 1, 2, nearly 3, and then a cutting edge of 2 3/4. But unfortunately, as it's a lock-in knife, it's not legal in the UK. But it would be definitely one of those knives, if you were to purchase this, or you could sort of afford to purchase this, it would be more like sort of a safe queen. So there we go, guys. That's my review of the Herman Knives Micro Sting 104. It has the Fafnir Damasteel. If you're interested in something like this, please do go and check out Polish Custom Knives. They've got some fantastic stuff on there. You can find them on Instagram. Go check them out. Once again, Paddy, thank you for sending this over. I've just got a couple of hard use tests to do, as I mentioned at the start, with bolts, bricks. I might do a car test, which involves me sort of balancing the blade over a rock and then driving up it to see if it can stand the test. And then I'll get it sent back to you. So please be sure to like, subscribe and ring that bell for notifications. And I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.